everyone. Art in the City has been on hiatus for a little while, and I decided I would take some time during the pandemic to work on my own pieces of art. So I have lots of things started, not a lot of things finished, but I will keep working at it. But today I'm happy to tell you that I am talking with two award-winning, very talented local artists, Barbara McDonald and Cindy Revell. Barbara has been instrumental in bringing a brand new chapter of the Federation of Canadian Artists to the Edmonton area. And Cindy and a few other people came on board early on to help with the endeavor. I'm personally very excited about what has been happening with the Federation of Canadian Artists opening a chapter here. Because myself, along with a number of other local area artists, were invited to submit to become members of the FCA, to become founding members of this chapter. For those of you who don't know anything about FCA or why I would be so excited, well, these two ladies are here to share the story and tell you what else is going to be happening. So welcome, Barb and Cindy.
Nice to see you, Memory.
Well, thank you for coming on Art in the City. And I wanted to talk a little bit first about the history of the Federation of Canadian Artists, because I know it's been around for ages. So Barbara, can you kind of give us a little bit of the history to begin with?
Sure, I can start off by telling you that next year is the 80th anniversary of the Federation of Canadian Artists in Canada. And as far as the history, I'll turn that over to Cindy, and she's going to explain a little bit about the organization in general. Cindy?
Sure. So the FCA was started in about 1941 by working professional artists in Canada. Three of those early members were group of seven: Arthur Lismer, A.Y. Jackson, and Lauren Harris. And Emily Carr was also one of the founding members. And they started it as a way to bring artists across Canada together, to unite them. And artists can be pretty isolated, especially back then. And it was their way to bring people together. In time, the organization changed, it morphed. It had an interesting history because it was really quite active for a while, and then it became a little less active. And now we have where we are today. It's a really active organization with chapters all across Canada.
Well, that's wonderful. So with the whole history, like you said, there were chapters everywhere, and then they come and go, right? Mm-hmm. So Edmonton is a brand new chapter. But Vancouver, that's sort of the main hub. They have a gallery there, right?
Yes, yeah.
So what is it with the gallery? Like, do people have to go to the gallery to have shows, or how does that work?
Right. Well, all of the shows at the Federation Gallery are exhibitions in which artists have to be juried in order to show there. And you have to be a member in order to participate in the exhibitions. There are 2 exhibitions per month, and there are 3 international exhibitions per year. And those are open to artists across the world.
So as an artist, why would an artist want to become a Federation Canadian Artists member? Like, what is the big deal? Like, I know, but I want everyone else to know.
Well, I'll answer that. First of all, the FCA has probably the only national organization that has its own gallery, as Cindy was explaining about the gallery in Vancouver. It has some 3,800 members across Canada, and their standards are fairly high. In order to be able to participate in a show, you have to be an active member. In order to be an active member of the FCA, you have to be juried in, which, as you know, Memory, is a rigorous process. You have to submit 10 of your paintings and have them juried by senior artists, which I will mention now. Cindy is a senior artist. She is an SFCA. Now, once you've been juried in, you have access to all these shows that Cindy was talking about. Plus, they offer an amazing amount of critiques and demonstrations and all sorts of different informative things that you can be involved in. And this makes the Federation of Canadian Artists a very different organization compared to some of the others that are more locally based.
Right. So the this organization is also recognized worldwide. Am I right?
Yes.
So when I know there's been some shows which are just for the members, and some shows are open international. So
Yes,
whether you're a member or not, you can still participate if your piece is juried in.
Their open calls are open to all artists worldwide, but they have to be able to adhere to the same standards that the recognized artists in the FCA have to as well. So, right. And we have 3 of those per year. One is just finished now and is just online. It's just going online tomorrow. And it's the AIRS competition, which is the representational competition. So there's quite a few international artists in that.
Oh, that's wonderful. So what made you decide, Barbara, to open a chapter here?
Well, I spent about 20 years off and on the island and in BC, where this particular organization, where their base is. And on the island, I belonged to a chapter called Aerosmith. And there were 2 other chapters on the island as well, Victoria and Nanaimo. And after looking around on the island, trying to get involved in various organizations, I discovered the Federation and the Aerosmith chapter by going to a show and felt that it might be a good fit for me because I'm always trying to challenge myself. And I like to be involved in competitions and shows and that kind of thing. So I joined that chapter and spent 6 or 7 years on the island involved in that chapter and really enjoyed it. And then we moved back to the Edmonton area because we have family here. And I looked around and I thought, God, I can't believe that the size of Edmonton does not have a chapter when there's one in Calgary, one in Peace River, but no chapter in Edmonton. So I started doing a little bit of research and looking for active artists because, I mean, in order you can belong to the Federation of Canadian Artists and you do not have to belong to a chapter. For example, Cindy was already a member of the Federation. I was a member, and there was a few others in the Edmonton area. And a lot of us got together a year ago last March, which would have been 2019, not 2020, this past year, and had a meeting and inquired about becoming a chapter through Vancouver and discovered that we didn't have enough active members. Those are members that are juried in and eligible to participate in the shows. So we had to decide how we were going to get the required amount, which was 18 active members. So I happened to run into Cindy at one of our meetings and that was organized through someone else that was interested, discovered that she was a signature member and was eligible to jury people in. So I thought, okay, this is interesting. So between Cindy and Doris Charest, another member we found that had the ability to jury, we organized a jurying session, found a lot of artists interested. We could only accommodate so many artists. And we ended up jurying in, the gals ended up jurying in enough artists to be able to reapply for chapter status. And we reapplied in March, I believe, of this past year, and we got approval the next day.
Oh, that's great.
That's how it all started.
Wow, that's been a lot of work. I mean, it's not easy, right? So you've been working at this, like you say, for what was it, almost a year?
Yeah, over a year. Yes.
Yeah. So
and
this is. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
This is really great for our area. Barbara, you live in St. Albert.
Yes.
And so with this chapter, I remember talking to you before the whole thing was finalized, trying to figure out what name to come up with, what area is it going to cover. And I know it covers the greater Edmonton area.
It does.
So,
It covers Edmonton and as far north as Mornville, out Sherwood Park, Cooking Lake, east, and south. I think we're down to Leduc, maybe
mhm,
even a bit further south than that, and west as far as Stony Plain and Spruce Grove. Now, what that means is another chapter cannot come in and host a show in our area,
mhm,
but they can enter shows in our area. They just can't, like, for example, Calgary could enter a show that we have, but they cannot host a show in this area. So this is why this area is unique to the Edmonton chapter.
right, right. Well, that's great. That's good to know that. So artists that are watching this show right now and they're thinking, oh, this sounds great. How do they go about becoming a member of the Edmonton chapter?
I'm going to give that one to Cindy.
Okay.
Cindy?
Sure. Well, the first thing you need to do is go to the Federation website, which is artists.ca. You become a supporting member, and there's no jurying required for that. Once you're a supporting member, you can immediately put in a submission to become an active member. To become an active member, you have to submit 10 original paintings. Those paintings are juried. And if you are lucky enough to get in, yay you, way to go. Because the standards with the FCA are fairly high. They are looking for a consistent level of quality. And if you get in, that is really an achievement to be proud of. Once you've become an active member, then you're eligible to submit to all of their various exhibitions. And if you're interested in increasing your level of membership, you can then apply to become an associate member. That's an AFCA. And that, again, is another jurying process. And you have to have been accepted in 7 qualifying exhibitions. 5 of those exhibitions can be chapter exhibitions, but only 2 per year. It sounds a little bit confusing. If artists go to the artist.ca website, they'll be able to get all that information.
Right.
And again, for that level, standards are a little bit higher. And if an artist is really interested in challenging themselves, they can apply to be an SFCA. And again, standards are a little bit higher for that, but it is a great way to challenge yourself. I hope all of our affiliates do that. They are wonderful artists. As soon as this chapter was up and running, Barb and I saw Edmonton affiliates start applying for exhibitions and getting in right off the bat. Not only applying, but winning.
Winning
we
awards.
have a really strong chapter here.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's great to be amongst all these amazing artists in the Edmonton chapter and being part of the Federation. And I hope other people who are out there will also want to, be part of it. It's a great organization. And as Barbara, as you had told me, it helps you be noticed on the world stage, which is kind of scary, but kind of great,
Well, yeah, I think a lot of the artists here, it always amazed me how they get into the shows in Vancouver and they think nothing of it. And they get awards and they think, oh, that's nice, until you say to them, hey, that was pretty darn amazing, I mean, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I think it's starting to sink in with some of them, just how incredible it is that they've not only been able to get into the Vancouver shows, but to win awards in the Vancouver shows.
Yeah.
And you know what else, Memory? There are so many artists out there that haven't yet joined the FCA chapter here. And there's so much potentially great artists out there that really need to give it a lot of consideration. Because
you are so right, Barbara. I mean, just St. Albert, I mean, we're known as the botanical arts community. We have a thriving arts community here. And many people don't know about FCA.
Just so much to offer. My gosh, I mean,
Yeah.
just the membership role that we have now, these people have so much to offer other artists and each other. And that's what the FCA is all about. It's the striving for excellence. And whether you're an abstract artist or a representational artist, or you're a whimsical artist, everybody has their thing, and everybody, needs that encouragement and that feedback. And that's why the organization is so good that way.
Right. And so, sorry, go ahead, Cindy.
I think the important thing for potential affiliates to remember is that the FCA is a national organization. So when you're juried in, you're part of a much larger family of artists across Canada.
Yeah.
That's pretty important. So you're not only a part of a family of artists in Edmonton, but also across the country. That's pretty exciting.
It is. It's really exciting. So for our chapter, we are having the very first show coming up. So who would like to tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I can start, I guess, by telling you that we were absolutely thrilled with the entries. We had 112 entries. And of those 112 entries, we have 79 that were juried into the show, which is an amazing number. That's a great percentage. And a lot of them weren't juried in because they weren't good enough. It's just that you only were allowed to get 3 paintings in. And if you happen to enter 5, well, you could only have 3. That doesn't mean that, So I was really, really so happy with the entry because we only have approximately, I think it's about 47 active members and FCA and AFCA members that were eligible to enter the show. So that's excellent.
Yeah, for sure.
The show is online, which, as you know, is a bit of a challenge. And because of COVID, we really didn't have any other choice in the matter. But I think because with the show, Vancouver is helping us out there. And again, we're going back to that national exposure, that the Edmonton chapter show is going to be on the Vancouver website. So the link will go right to their website and will be shown on their website, which means everyone across Canada will have access to see that show and be able, and all our artists will have that exposure. So that's the one really great thing about this show, I think. Anything to add, Cindy?
I guess just the fact that as a chapter, we can do our own advertising, but to have the Federation behind us and advertising to their collectors gives us another layer of visibility to the country.
Right. And they are very good at selling art also. It's, I've noticed in the shows that I have been in so far and just some of the other ones, there's a lot of art that gets sold. So that's pretty impressive especially during COVID times.
Yeah.
So
well, the gallery is a beautiful space on Granville Island in Vancouver. They get a lot of art lovers walking through there and lots of tourists.
Right. So as an artist, when a show comes up, there might be the opportunity to do chapter shows. So if it's your local chapter, your art will stay in the local area. If you apply to a different chapter, then your art has to be shipped to their chapter. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then if you get into a Vancouver show, if it's not an online show, then your piece would have to be shipped to Vancouver. That's where people actually come and see it. And a lot of times they're online also, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So so a lot of these shows, well, actually, I think all the shows have winners, right? First, second, third, honorable mentions, that sort of thing. Some shows, not only can you become a winner, you can earn money, right? It's a cash award. So what's happening with this show, and can you share with us who the winners are?
Yes, we do have award winners for this show. And really, we do have the cash awards this time because there is no physical show, and we thought it would be a nice incentive, and it was, we think. The first place
was a great way to kickstart it.
Yeah, Yes, absolutely. The you want me to go ahead and just announce?
Yes. Tell us who those winners
All right.
are.
Our first place winner was Anne McCartney, who is local. I think she's from the Edmonton area.
Yes.
She won with her piece Under the Kigelia Tree. And she won the $300 first prize. The second prize winner was Anita Scubolini. I hope I said that right. With her piece Quiet Reflection. And she won $200 for her second place. And the third place winner was Susan Abma with Trumpeter's Tea. And she won the $100 third place. And then we had 3 honorable mentions that had a $50 prize. And I'll just let you know, Jennifer Annesley, Michelle Murray, and I was fortunate and I got one too. So
Way to go, Barbara.
those were
Congratulations. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Barbara. Congratulations to all the winners. It is such an honor to be a winner of one of these shows.
Such a beautiful, beautiful work. And the entire body of the show is beautiful, the show itself.
Good. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's quite exciting, for everybody. And this being our first show, we hope we get lots of people viewing online. Unfortunately, we were going to have it at the St. Albert place in the Rotunda area, but because of COVID, it just didn't work out. So what is the start date is September the 23rd.
23rd, yeah.
And it runs until
November 1st. November 1st.
November 1st.
Yeah.
So people can go to the Federation link, which I believe is, what is that link? It's federationgallery.com/show. And they can find the Edmonton chapter show there, along with a bunch of other shows too, right?
Yes, and they can also find that link on the Edmonton chapter's website as well, and that is fcaedmonton.ca.
And the Federation of Canadian Artists also has a Facebook page. People can like it and follow along.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on Twitter too, right? Yeah, I think we are. No, not Twitter. We're on Instagram.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yes.
so people can find us also on Instagram. So, well, this was great, ladies. Thank you so much for, telling everybody a little bit about the Federation of Canadian Artists, and hopefully this is going to open up a whole new thing for the Edmonton art scene, and hopefully we'll get lots more people applying and participating, and it'll be a lot of fun.
I would like to add one more thing, Memory, if I can.
Sure. Yeah.
We have reserved the Ottawa Centre in Sherwood Park for our second show. And we're hoping that it's going to be a physical show this time around for February 26th, 27th, and 28th.
Right. Great.
So we're hoping we'll get some more artists interested in the chapter to be able to enter that show.
That's great. So thank you so much, ladies. I wish you all the luck with the show. I look forward to talking to you again. We'll have to talk again before the next show. We do have a lot of St. Albert artists with the Federation, along with
absolutely
Edmonton area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really great. So thanks again, ladies, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Memory. Thanks for the opportunity.
Welcome.